New winner.
Final answer? You got it right!
Meredith Vieira.
$1 million.
Don't miss Premiere Week on Millionaire.
Millionaire, this week at 12:30 on 6ABC. Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Nobody said it would be easy walking into the teeth of a hurricane. This the scene this afternoon in Virginia Beach, Virginia, as sustained winds of 100 miles an hour are making it tough just to walk down the street. It is Thursday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is Hurricane Isabel making land and heading north. The eye of the storm came ashore at North Carolina's Outer Banks early this afternoon. Isabel's top sustained winds were 95 miles an hour. The hurricane-force winds extended up to 115 miles from the center. The storm whipped up huge waves. Seas of up to 33 feet were reported off the Virginia coast. Isabel knocking out power for nearly 1 million residents in North Carolina and Virginia, and could bring some areas up to 9 inches of rain before she's through. The storm is moving northwest and inland, and states of emergency have been declared in a half-dozen states, including Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. The federal government closed down in Washington, and well over 1,500 flights were canceled at airports throughout the east. Isabel's winds tore the roofs off some beachfront hotels in Virginia Beach and damaged the Holiday Inn in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Let's go live now to Kill Devil Hills and Action News reporter Michelle McCormack. Michelle.
Isabel is still making her presence felt here in Kill Devil Hills. Just 2 minutes ago, I was ready to say that the winds are dying down and at least the rain had stopped. But once again, the gusts are picking up some momentum, and there are faint raindrops once again falling down on us. To give you a sense of what the wind is like right now, we're going to show you some of the traffic signals here. They continue to sway in the breeze. Of course, the winds made quick work of many a rooftop, particularly in Kitty Hawk, where many of the homes are the closest to the ocean of any homes on the Outer Banks. In fact, what was so surprising to us, but something that the locals had anticipated, was the fact that the combination of the hurricane force winds and the ocean actually not only had the waves going over the sand dunes, but actually cutting paths through them. We are hearing widespread damage, property damage. There's an all-out power outage from the hotels to the residential homes here, and we're all just hoping that perhaps we are finally facing that tail end of the storm, that Isabel will finally go away. Live in Kill Devil Hills, Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Michelle. Now let's get all the facts and figures on the storm, particularly in terms of how they'll affect us, from Dave Roberts and AccuWeather. David?
Well, Jim, the winds are kicking up. The rain has let up a little bit here on City Avenue. Already, though, we have smaller branches and limbs coming down, and the worst is yet to come. Let's hope that the larger limbs don't follow. Let's go to Storm Tracker 6 live now and give you an idea what's going on here in the immediate area. So as we take this live picture, you will see precipitation well to our south. There is our scan. Let's make some moves now as we go down south and see who's getting what. You see the yellow indicating there somewhat heavier cells around Bear, Delaware, from Port Penn, Salem, the Woodstown, almost moving now in a northwesterly fashion, pulling more to the west. Let's make another move on Storm Tracker 6 Live, and from there we'll go even farther to the south, and you see the move, again, moving into Dover, south of Cape May, coming across Sea Isle City and Millville. Those areas picking up steady rain, and then the pockets of yellow and some red in there just south of Dover, indicating some heavy downpours. Let's give you the latest now on Hurricane Isabel. Here we go. 40 miles east-southeast of Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. 90-mile-per-hour top winds. Is moving to the north-northwest at 24 miles per hour. That's the latest on Isabel. We're watching the path. Now on land, it came on land around Cape Hatteras, and we expect by 8 o'clock be west of Norfolk, quick moving, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning west of Philadelphia, and then from there we anticipated pulling farther away, going up to west of Syracuse by 8 o'clock in the evening. Now what can we expect? Well, tonight right into Friday, strong gusty winds anywhere from 30 to 60 mile per hour gusts along the shore there, very strong. Heavy rains in the city, 1 to 2 inches. South and west, 2 to 3 inches of rain out of this. Now, how strong will the winds be in particular down at the shore? What about high tides down there, and how much rain? We'll have those answers, Jim, when we come back in just a few minutes.
Thank you, David. And to check out the situation right now at the Jersey Shore, let's go to New Jersey correspondent Kathy Gandolfo in Cape May. Kathy?
Jim, it is nasty out here. It is raining sideways. It is wet, and the wind is extremely strong, and the gusts are really having a major effect on the ocean. The angry sea crashed into bulkheads here in Avalon's North End, just one of the many visual but potentially dangerous signs of Hurricane Isabel. The storm, expected to parallel Cape May County overnight, prompted officials here to issue a state of emergency.
We're getting nor'easters 4 and 5 times a year. This is almost a commonplace effect for Cape May County, and most of the folks know and recognize that. So we think we'll be in good shape.
Schools like Stone Harbor Elementary closed early and will remain closed tomorrow.
There's always trepidation. Of course, you're concerned. I live offshore in Cape May Courthouse, so I'm scooping up my grandchildren and taking them over there, and hopefully we'll all be safe.
It does make me nervous because it's one of the bigger ones. I mean, it's on TV all the time.
The local National Guard contingent is in Iraq, so other units from around the state of New Jersey have been deployed to the shore points.
Our mission here is to help evacuate if we need to, people, in the flood areas.
Officials are especially concerned about the high tide at 2:30 tomorrow morning. That is when the storm will be most intense, and they are very concerned about flooding. And we'll be here all night. Live in Cape May, I'm Kathy Gandolfo, Channel 6 Action News. Jim.
Thank you, Kathy. And now live to Atlantic City, a New Jersey correspondent, Karen Rogers. And Karen, one of the big questions for you, what's the story with tomorrow night's Miss America parade?
That's right, Jim. And Miss America pageant officials did say the show will go on. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Friday's parade down the boardwalk. Although already they've noticed a lot of the people aren't sticking around. The boardwalk usually packed at this time. That's not the case. The wind also has picked up, kind of forcing a lot of the people out of here. We're getting some blowing sand now as well. I've been clocking some of the winds. Not very strong right now, but I had been clocking in the teens. Here we go with a gust right now. Blowing off the ocean, as you can see, although right now just reporting about 7. But as you can see, the water has been creeping up on us. Earlier at high tide, it was hitting the boardwalk. Getting a little bit better now that the tide is going out. This is all going to change overnight tonight. About 2 o'clock this morning at high tide again. It'll be about 8 feet above normal. That means could be flooding here, even at the back bays. Even if there's no rain, we could see the flooding here. So all along the area, people are preparing for the worst.
Wow, the weather, it's crazy. I haven't seen it like this in a long time. It's that waves are really high. The water's under the boardwalk.
Even longtime residents say they are surprised just how fierce the ocean is in Ventnor. The huge ocean swells smash up against the pier while water rushes under the boardwalk and against the break wall.
We're telling everybody to stay in tonight, enjoy the wind blowing and the rain coming down, and stay safe, stay home. You might have temporary power outages. Make sure all your lawn furniture, your trash cans are secured. Make sure you have your flashlight batteries and the radios.
At the Atlantic City Inlet at high tide, the wind gusts were so strong people had trouble walking on the boardwalk. Others held onto the rails as they watched the waves crash against the jetty. In the back bays of Atlantic City, this video store was boarded up. Residents expecting street flooding moved their cars while some taped up their windows.
We're just taping up the windows and getting ready for the storm. You never know what could happen, and rather be safe than sorry.
We're having trouble holding on with some of the wind gusts here right now. Atlantic City schools let out earlier this afternoon. Tomorrow they may be canceled. They'll decide that tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Live in Atlantic City, Karen Rogers, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Karen. In Chester County, Downingtown residents who saw flooding earlier this week are trying to prevent more damage from Hurricane Isabel. People are preparing for the storm by boarding up their homes. Some are still in shelters or staying with members of their family. Township workers cleared debris from storm drains and sandbagged Borough Hall. In anticipation of Isabel, Governor Rendell has declared a statewide disaster emergency, which authorizes help from state agencies. Now, more than 1 million customers have already lost power in eastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. And while we certainly don't expect problems like that, anything like that, local utility companies are standing at the ready. At one of PECO's command centers.
Aleve. And for all-day non-drowsy relief of your sinus pressure and pain, try Aleve Sinus and Headache.